Hey everyone, welcome to Lesson 9 of the Student Portfolio Project and Playlist. Congratulations! With a little help here, we may be done with the project. So our goal here is to wrap up everything. The footer and the filler for the blog and about me. So on the screen right now is the finished product. We've completed the navigation. We've completed the hero image on the front page, the projects page, styling and structure all the way through. What we want to do now is just put filler in for blog and keep that there, and also in the walkthrough the same for about me. Now once we're done with this lesson, students, you are on your own, and it is your freelance now to take this structure and create your own student portfolio. We want you to maintain the structure of the hero page and the projects page. About me is going to be completely up to you with certain specifications. So we are close to getting a freelance project going for you, which is very exciting. You could instill your creativity in what we've been learning. So let's get right to it. On the screen right now is the home page. So if we scroll all the way down, the footer is at the bottom. Will truth be told here, because this is a student project, not the greatest of footers. I do want to bring to your attention what should be in a footer. So if you just Google that, I came up with a blog by HubSpot and written by Anna Fitzgerald, July 2022. And if we scroll down here, what is the footer of a website? So it's the section of content at the very bottom of the page. It typically contains copyright, link to privacy policy, site map, logo, contact information, social media, icons, and email, and more. So a lot of that doesn't apply to what we're doing, so we are going to keep it basic. We're going to put a little copyright. We'll show you how to use that symbol in HTML, and also put a small little navigation at the bottom. So let's go back to the project one final time, and there it is. So we are going to put this kind of bogus, if you will, copyright in here just to get you comfortable with how to do that, and then finally a navigation to the other 4 pages at the bottom. So let's get right to it. Come on over to Cloud9. We want to pull down on the left-hand side. We want to pull down your student portfolio project structure, and we want to open up a couple of files. So in the editor, let's open up index.html, and let's leave it at that for now. And let's see. So we want to scroll all the way down to the bottom here, and remember, we finished out the hero class right here on my line 54, and then we left 2 lines of open space, and then we had our JavaScript link. So it is here where we want to start. Please move your cursor to the end of that hero class comment, hit enter twice, and we want a footer snippet. So this is a semantic HTML element for footer, and inside of here we want a paragraph, a p tag, p snippet, and we are going to have this class. We're going to assign this a class. Oops, I've got to give a little space between that. There we go. So now we've got it as an attribute. Class equals, in quotes, now the value. Let's put copyright on this as the name of this class, and let's move outside of the opening tag. And for the content, here's where we want to go back to our friends at at W3 Schools. So if you just Googled HTML symbols or copyright, here's where we are. But as a reminder, on the left-hand side, we're inside of the tutorial as we've been for much of the year, and there is a HTML symbols reference, and there is structure to a lot of different symbols here, mathematical symbols included, and if we go down here, Greek symbols, and finally other entities supported. So this is what we want here, the @copy. That's the copyright sign. So feel free to try that on W3 Schools. We're going to come on back and put that, so @copy in the, and notice the copyright snippet comes up. We want that inside of the content, And we want a semicolon and then wdw. Let's see. Aladdin 2022. Period. All rights reserved. Okay, so that is our opening p tag for our footer. And now we're going to put in an unordered list. So we want a UL snippet. And inside of the UL class, so the opening tag here, let me hit Control S. Inside of the UL opening tag, I want class equals. And let's name this bottom nav. And I need some quotes around that for the value of our property. And there we go. Looks like we're back on track. Okay, so now, very similar to what we did with navigation at the top of the page, this is going to be a list item. And I'm just going to type, okay, so open tag li and then close tag, and we are going to have a link in between here. So we want an anchor. Let's see, I'm fighting the snippets here, so I want an anchor tag here. So let me just do this. Open anchor href equals, and then we want index.html, and we need that in quotes as well. I'm not doing well today with my class and attributes here, my apologies. And let's see, we want to then close out of that anchor tag, and I think we are set. So let me just double check that. This is a list item within an unordered list. The class name of unordered list is bottom nav. The anchor tag, the href, is going to be to index.html. Inside of that anchor, we want the context to say home. And I think we should be all set. Now, if you take a look, let's hit save here. If you take a look at the finished product one more time, we also have this divider in between each one. So we want to actually add that as part of the list item. So let's do the same thing. We want to open up li class equals, and we're going to identify this as a class of divider. Close that list item, and in between, we're just going to put the bar that's straight up and down, that's above the backslash, to the right of the curly brackets that close. So there we go. So make sure that's a straight up and down bar. And I think we've got it. So let's see. Let me just double check that. I have list class equals divider. So we are set to go. So now all we need to do is copy that, those two sections right here, our index.html and divider, and let's copy that, and we need it once, twice, and 3 times. So let's see if we've got this. I might have overshot the copying here. So index divider, next one down, we want not index, but we want as projects.html, and we want to go into change the content from home to projects. Then we want to come into the next HTML reference and put blog.html, and likewise change the content there. And finally, we want about me.html in the link, and likewise in our content. Now, I don't want the lower camel case in the content, sorry about that. So we want, there we go. Okay, Now, another thing is we don't want the divider after About Me because that's the end. Just to reference that, here we go. So I'm going to delete that divider at the end there, and I believe we are complete. Let's bring the UL on up. We are complete with the structure for the bottom nav. Okay, so now it's a matter of styling this. So let's open up our style.css. And remember, we had the media query at the end, so we want to keep that at the end. So do me a favor, come on back to the very end prior to the media query. And that was the font awesome styling. And I'm just going to hit enter a few times to create that separation intentionally so I don't overwrite the media query by accident. And I'm going to hit font awesome. At the end of the font awesome close, I'm going to hit enter twice. Okay, and now let's just go back. We're going to begin with the footer tag, but let's just refresh our memory of what we have here. So it is going to be the P tag up top with WDW Aladdin 2022, all rights reserved, and then we're going to have the navigation down below. So we are going to target first the entire container that holds the P tag and the unordered list. So that will be the parent. So let's immediately tackle that, and there is no class here because this is just the semantic tag for footer. There it is. So we do not need dot footer here, and we're going to align everything text align center. Our color, we're going to use the Vegas gold. So if you scroll all the way to the top here, back to our color palette, that's our Vegas gold reference, and that is the font color that we're using. Remember, font color is just highlighted with the word color. Then margin, we're going to apply 10 rem on the top and bottom and 0 left or right. And border text, or excuse me, border top, my apologies. We're going to place a border, a solid border, 1 pixel with the following color. And that color, I believe, is the accent color. So if we scroll all the way up the top quickly, that is our accent. So we want a kind of a very small border that separates the footer from everything else on top of the page. Okay, so now let's actually target the copyright class. And remember, this is a class, so we want .copyright. So we're going to have a margin all the way around all 4 sides of 1 rem, padding same 1 rem, and font size 1 rem. Color, we're keeping the color as Vegas gold, and we're displaying in block. Okay. And then let's see. I believe that is it. So let me move that up here. And let's quickly take a look at what we have. So save what you have here, and let's go over to index, move your cursor into there, and let's preview that page. If we scroll all the way down, there we go. So we have our paragraph tag set up. We have our navigation set up, but notice now the parent UL still has to have some styling to it, so that is where we're going to go next. So now to style the bottom nav, so let me close out of this. Since this is a navigation, I want to stay consistent with the CSS file structure, so I'm going to open up nav.css. And I'm going to scroll down and do the same thing. I want to make sure I have a clear separation between the media query. And I'll bring that back up again later. But finally, okay, so in the nav.css, above the media query, but below the previous styling, we're going to target the bottom nav class. So just a refresher here, bottom nav here is the unordered list with the children being the list items. Okay, so bottom nav, we're going to apply no margins. We want display flex, so that's going to now make everything default side by side or horizontally and not vertically as we saw in the preview. Justify content becomes is always on the main axis, so that main axis now is default row. So that means we're going to center everything that way, but also align items vertically up and down as centered as well. So that is the bottom nav entire container. Hit enter twice. Let's now tackle the list items in much the same way as we did with the navigation up top. We want to remove, so this is any list item in the bottom nav class. So be careful with your spelling. Make sure bottom is spelled correct. So again, make sure your spelling is right. So BOTTOM capital NAV, and any list item in the bottom nav class, we want the styling to be none, so that's going to take away the underline. We want the font size to be a little smaller, 0.9 rem, and padding of 0 on top and bottom, 0.5 left and right. Finally, we want to target the actual anchor tags within the list items. Which now this means we want any anchor tag of a list item inside of the bottom nav class. Please remove the text decoration. So that is, I apologize, the list style removes the bullets. And then the text decoration removes the underline. And color is a default of blue. We're changing that to Vegas gold here. That is the text color, and we're displaying block as well. So let's bring up the media query a little bit. Control S. Pause the video at this point. Make sure you have the bottom nav styling complete. All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at the preview here. Make sure you're saving on each page, saving on style, and coming back to index. And let's preview our footer. So okay, so let's call up that preview now in index, and we're going to scroll down, and notice I'm picking up an error here. It did not pick up our bottom nav styling, so let's take a look at spelling here. So bottom nav class should be lower lowercase b for bottom, upper capitalization for nav. Let's see if we match that in the structure, and here it is, bottom nav, and no, we do not. So that is the error, which is very common, the spelling back and forth. Again, we talked about this earlier. One way to avoid that is not to go from memory, but just to copy what you have here. But again, I want that to be lower camel case, so one fix there should do that. Let's refresh one more time. And there we go. So we now have the footer linking. Notice when we hover over blog, home, projects, and about me, smaller on the screen, subtle, but still if someone were to scroll all the way down, we have somewhat of a replication, not a true footer, but we have items there that kind of give a feel for a footer on this page. Okay, so where we are at right now. We have completed the footer, we have completed project, we've completed nav, and so on. So at this point, we're going to stop lesson 9. We have one more to go, and as you could imagine, if we go back to the final product, and we could even open this up in a big screen, there's our footer down below. And the final product, we want this footer on every single page. There's our projects page. We also want content with the footer and the nav on the blog and about me page. So that is the administrative stuff that we're going to wrap up in the next lesson. Thanks so much, everybody. Congratulations on making it this far. We got one more to go. We'll see you then, everyone.